Two powerful forces in the state come together to try to make New Jersey more business friendly. Also, a judicial crisis in New Jersey. We don't have enough federal judges. We'll tell you why. And now, our interview with Michele Siekerka, CEO and President of the New Jersey Business and Industry Association, and Tom Bracken, President of the New Jersey Chamber of Commerce. Our next two guests are describing in New Jersey what is called a crisis, but they come with solutions. It's called Opportunity New Jersey. We've had them on several times before. Michele Siekerka is CEO of New Jersey Business and Industry Association, and Tom Bracken is the president of the New Jersey Chamber of Commerce. I appreciate you both being here.
Thanks for asking.
Opportunity New Jersey, what is it?
Opportunity New Jersey, Larry, is an organization, a 501c4, that we formed about 4 or 5 years ago with all the major regional chambers of commerce, most of the major regional chambers of commerce, and many of the very large vertical trade groups, to have a bigger voice, to help drive policy, to help drive a better business climate for the state of New Jersey. And to do that, you need a big voice. So the more organizations we brought together, the bigger the voice, the more impact we had. And we've had impact, and now we have an endeavor that we hope will have even more impact.
Michele, it was interesting, as I was trying to fact check myself before I overstated the problem, I said to you, is there a business crisis in New Jersey, or are we nearing one? And without letting me finish the sentence, you said, oh no, we're there.
Yeah, no, we've hit the fiscal cliff. We need to look at a reform agenda today. We need to look at things like the cost of our pension and our retiree health care. We need to look at investment in infrastructure. We need to look at workforce development. We need to look at things that are going to really move the needle in order to help to continue to grow jobs in the state of New Jersey, fill a pipeline in order to fill those jobs in the state of New Jersey, but most important, have an affordable and regionally competitive business climate, which today we are woefully lacking. We are last when it comes to business climate ranking here in the Northeast.
So, and that manifests itself in not being able to attract new business.
Absolutely, and businesses are stagnant here. They're not growing.
A moment ago, when we were prepping for this interview, you said, look, we want to stay positive. We want to keep all of this above board. That, I'm sure, is a difficult thing to do, given the magnitude
Larry,
of the problem.
it isn't, because our state is blessed with more assets than any state in the country. Our location is the best in the country. It's easy to stay positive about New Jersey because of what we have. So what we're trying to say is, we are where we are. There's no sense beating a dead horse. We want to be better. So we want to leverage those assets and make the state better because we have the raw material to do that. So to be positive is, I think, refreshing, hopefully, to some people, and that's our goal, to have a very positive plan out there that people can embrace, and we can get some policy decisions made that will help the business community.
It's positive. Can it be unrealistic, considering the fact, and let me ask you, over the last couple of years, did it get better or worse?
It has...
more challenging.
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah, it's more challenging. It wasn't great to begin with, and it hasn't gotten great. So, make your own decision on that. But there's a lot of upside, and I think if we get the right people together, beating on the same drum, we can achieve some of that upside. And then once we get going, hopefully we'll get some traction, and it will benefit the state. Everything we can do and everything we can accomplish with our plan is going to benefit every person in the state, including the middle class that the governor's talking about. This is a very comprehensive plan that can help everybody.
Challenging is a big word, because Tom just talked about getting people beating with the same drum.
Yes.
Even getting people to agree on anything in Trenton right now isn't challenging. It may be impossible.
Well, the reality is when you bring data to the game and you show the current state of our economy here in the state of New Jersey, when you do that, you can see the levers you need to pull to make change. So, for example, when you know that you're last in the region in corporate business tax, all right, and you know who's behind you and where you are, you can say, okay, well, we could do this in order to pull that lever to do that. The governor's big on innovation. We did a study at NJBIA that talked about the 12 indicators of innovation to move the state back to being the lead. And we compared ourselves regionally against 6 other states in the region. So now that we know where's the investment in R&D and how are other states doing it, where are the best practices that here we used to lead in, but unfortunately, it's not that we stopped, it's just that everybody started our playbook. Right? They took our playbook and then they went and executed it. And at the same time, we just got a little stagnant in that.
How optimistic are you that any of this can really happen?
I'm optimistic that some of this can happen. I would
Give me a for instance, like what do you think? If you thought this one really has a chance, what is it?
I think a positive resolution of economic development incentive plans. I think a positive resolution on helping our infrastructure, positive result of taking the energy master plan that is currently out there and softening it a little bit to help our utilities become more resilient and help our citizens. All those are achievable. So there's no low-hanging fruit here, but there are things out there that I think if people used a common sense approach, they would see this should be done because it's going to help the state, and I think they have a very good chance of happening.
You took the words right out of my mind when you said low-hanging fruit, because some of the big problems need to be addressed, and it doesn't seem like any of that's on the horizon, especially, would you agree that pension reform is number one?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, again, we need to make our own government more efficient. When we go out and our policymakers say we have a revenue problem, we say, no, we have a spending problem. And we need to step back and do the reforms that are needed that other states have done. Again, we can follow someone else's playbook who's done this and done it successfully. And then once we can be more efficient, when we raise revenue, every one of those dollars is going to come right back positively to our bottom line.
And Larry, what you kind of hit it right on the head. For years, all these big issues, people have been nibbling around the edges and putting in new programs and doing some fair economy initiatives and so forth. But the nibbling around the edges never got to the heart of our problems. What our plan is doing is going right after the heart of the biggest problems we have and trying to make progress on those problems, because no matter what you do around the edges, if the major problems aren't corrected and put in a positive direction, all the stuff around the edges won't work.
You said major problems, but I keyed in on the pension reform. Isn't that 80? Give me a percentage. How big of the problem is that?
Pension?
Well, let me give you an idea. When I said earlier about the fiscal cliff, okay, our long-term debt in the state of New Jersey has increased 382% over the last 10 years. In that same time, our revenue has only gone up 21% and our expenses have gone up 42%. Now, think about that, okay? Our debt in 10 years, 382%. Okay, a lot of that is driven by how we fund our pension system and the fact that we haven't done reform to that.
And every time the credit is downgraded, they point to the pension system.
Right.
So everything starts with that, right?
But our plan attacks it in two different ways. Okay. First of all, we are advocating for government efficiency, looking at the cost of government, reducing the cost of government, which has to be done to help the budgetary problems. And the other side is generating initiatives that helps grow business, which generates revenue. So if you increase the revenue and decrease the expense, you create a surplus that can be used to help go after pension, school funding, property taxes, all those issues that need to be addressed. So that's the gap we're trying to create, which is a positive gap.
And Michele, I know we didn't get through all of the plan and Opportunity New Jersey. Where can people see it?
We have a website, www.opportunitynj.org.
Great. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming in. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Larry.
Keep fighting the good fight. Michele Siekerka, CEO of NJBIA, and Tom Bracken, President of the New Jersey Chamber of Commerce. Jersey Matters continues right after this. Still to come on Jersey Matters, a backlog in the courts because we don't have enough judges. We'll tell you about it when we come right back.